Hello, I'm Tim Parton. I'm a farm manager in Staffordshire. I manage a 300-hectare farm. We're basically an arable farm, but we do have grass in the rotation for haylage for horses. I grow milling wheats, which hopefully go to Hovis or another bread manufacturer up in Manchester. I grow winter oilseed rape, which goes for vegetable oil. And then I do 50-50 what's called winter and spring cropping. So before my spring cropping, I'll always have a cover crop in there. So I'm providing habitat, I'm providing late pollen for pollinators, and I'm putting carbon back in the soil, which is really important to me. We all depend on carbon for growth and for living. So then I grow malting spring barley for Carling Black Label. I grow spring beans, I grow lupins, and I'll grow spring oats, which quite often end up as porridge oats. My journey probably started, I've always respected soil, and this slide is just to show how important soil is. Soil is a finite resource. It gives us food, it gives us clean air, it gives us clean water. And conventional farming is basically we've been really abusing our soil, and this slide just shows back in 2012 64 acres of soil lost in Herefordshire in 6 days. We can't just go and shovel that back up. So I knew we'd got to start and protect our soil and look after it. And obviously all that soil is carrying nutrients away, which then block up the estuaries around this country and all countries around the world, which are then going on to create dead zones in our oceans. 60 to 90% of our oxygen comes from marine photosynthesis. We can't keep using food production as a reason to destroy the planet in which we live. There is no planet B in my mind. So I try and farm with nature, not against nature and in the rhythm of nature. And I'm proving that I can get just as high yields, if not higher yields, farming in this way and restoring the planet in which we live along the journey, which is really, really important to me. This is the drill that I use, and I've really modified this drill. So we don't do any cultivations on farm. This is what's known as a direct drill. So using this drill, I can pop a seed in the ground. I've got a liquid system on the drill because I brew up a lot of biology. The air is 78% N, for instance. So I want to fix that N. Instead of buying it and polluting the atmosphere in the manufacture of it, the air is 78% N. All we need is the right microbes to be able to use that N and utilize it for the growing crop, which is what I try to do all the while. And then I'll use other products to make that immune system of the plant kick in right from an early age, so it doesn't get diseased. And I do a lot of sap testing so as I can keep that plant's health really rock solid, and then it won't get ill. It's just the same as us. If we've got the right nutrition and we look after ourselves, we don't tend to get ill. So this drill will do that. It'll pop a seed in, it'll pop a biological drench on it. So I'm getting that in the root zone of that plant, ready to make it a good start. And then I'll also roll at the same time. So compared to conventional times, I'm sort of doing all the cultivations and popping a seed in and rolling it where we'd have had 4 or 5 passes. I'm doing all that with one pass, which obviously uses a lot less fossil fuel. It doesn't disturb the soil. The soil doesn't like disturbance in natural habitat because I'm trying to get more of a fungal soil. And in getting more of a fungal soil, you get what's called glomalin, which is glue that holds all that nutrient and soil together, which is when you get good aggregation. But it doesn't like disturbance. And if you go and put a plough through there or a cultivator, it's just like somebody putting a ball and chain through your house. And just as you start to rebuild and lay a few bricks, somebody puts a ball and chain through again, and it just can't continue. And I realise this, which is why I farm in the way I do. This is one of the cover crops we grow over the winter. So, I mean, this would have been late September into October. You can see all that the flowering crop's still there, and we still get bees if the weather conditions are right into November, which is just providing that late habitat. And obviously that's fixing carbon all the while. We're basically sunlight farmers, so we're fixing all that carbon all the while. And that's just a classic example of what I do here. There's a lot of talk of trees at the moment in the media and everywhere else, and I love trees, and trees in the right environment are brilliant. We need trees, but to plant trees on arable land is just madness. We need food. We've still got a growing population. There's still 25,000 people a day dying of hunger-related problems, and to take good arable land out of production and plant trees on is just madness in my mind. And I know there's a lot of celebrities buying farms and putting trees on land, but they're just not seeing the bigger picture. They're causing more problems than needs to happen. And this slide here is just showing I can sequester just as much carbon with me farming with my cover crops as I can in planting trees over a 50-year period. And it's something to really take into mind there. We're still producing food, and we all need food, and to take food out of the system is just going to create hardship in my mind, and it just needs addressing, which is why I dropped this slide in there. I also catch moths on farm for Rothamsted research. I haven't used insecticide on farm now for 7 years. I don't use fungicides, and I don't use growth regulators, and I don't use seed treatments, because all those things are just synthetic inputs that do damage to the environment one way or another. I've probably got, I think we had 320 different species of moths here in the last 12 months, which is alike to a forest situation that's undisturbed. I've got moths here that shouldn't be here. We've got some very rare moths here, but it's just because I'm farming with nature and I'm not killing everything. And that's just testament. And by getting these moth numbers back, obviously bird numbers follow, which is this slide here. And this again is just a 12-month period. I have a local bird ringing group come in, which come in and ring the birds, and they also come in at night with a thermal image camera so they can see skylarks roosting on the ground, and they'll net them. You have to be licensed to do this, as they are, so that they can handle the birds properly. But then we can sort of monitor numbers and we can see what's going on. And I'll always remember the first night they came to the farm, that they were jumping up for joy because they'd never seen bird numbers like it, because they'd always been on conventional farms. And when they go onto conventional farms, they just don't find birds. They're just not there. But because I've got the whole ecosystem working on farm here, the bird numbers are flooding back. It's the best restaurant in town. And the whole farm is alive. And when you're walking the farm here, you'll see skylarks going up left, right and centre. We've got a good population of grey partridge here. We've successfully bred kestrels on farm. I think we're up to 14 now in the last 3 years. And, they're all red data species. And this is something, we need to shout about. There is no planet B, as I will keep saying, but we've got to look after what we've got. We can't keep destroying it. And this is just testament that I'm still producing food, but I'm also recreating the ecosystem on farm, and nature numbers are going through the roof with the moths and the birds. And having that food source is so important for the birds. A blue tick clutch of 10 could eat 1,000 caterpillars a day, and it's the reason they're rearing 8 to 10 in their clutches is because we've got the food on farm here. Everything is working as it's supposed to. I've just given you a quick insight of what we do here, and this is my final slide. But healthy soil provides healthy food creates healthy people, and at the same time we're creating a healthy planet. That is just a quick whistle-stop tour of what I do here at the farm, but I'd like to tell you more, but I know it's just a quick insight in what I'm doing, but I can't say enough how important healthy soil is. Everything I do starts with healthy soil, and we've been destroying it for so long. It's time to address that problem. There's a really good book called Dirt by David Montgomery, and in that book he'll depict how all populations on this planet, the main reason they declined or just went into instinct, take the right word, was because they didn't look after their soil, because it takes 100-year period before you realize your soil is depleted and it's not growing enough food. And the Roman armies had to disband basically because they couldn't feed the army. They just hadn't got enough food. And that was a recurring theme right the way through the history of our planet. But thank you for listening. Hope you all have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.